We are live.
We're live. The Alice Network. The Alice Network. That is what we read. Where's my notes at? Here we go.
It's a very good book, I thought.
Oh, it was the best one we've read so far.
Best book
What is
we've
this,
read
episode 3? Episode 3?
Yeah, episode 3.
Episode 3.
We're going to get straight into it. The way Charlotte said it raw. My mother had me wear oversized clothes, so I didn't show off how much of a whore I'd been. When I read that, I flinched.
Yeah,
I think coming close to go close. I flinched, when she said that. I was like, Jesus Christ, you can't say stuff like that. And I thought it's funny how books that are written to be in the olden periods can get away with opinions like that, because it's written now, but it's written to be in them periods. So you can get away with misogynistic and unacceptable opinions like 100%. That, but you can't say stuff like that these days. She's unmarried, whore, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a bit of a cheat code how you can kind of it's era appropriate. It's just era appropriate. So this is the reason.
No, but even if we were to but that's the funny thing. If someone was to write a book in this day and age and someone was to say that, it would be unacceptable, which is funny because they're both is fiction. It's not real. Do you know what I mean? So it would be unacceptable. You can't say that. I'm going to boycott this book or something like that. Because it's in 19 whatever. Oh, it's fine. It's cool.
Yeah, because it's era appropriate, isn't it? It was era appropriate.
Yeah.
That's what was going on. Like, for the sake of historical authenticity, that's what it is. My first point is similar vein, but I said I always consider it cheating when an author tells a story through the plight of a young woman in these kinds of times, at times when women are less respected. I feel like it's adversity, and the thing is, because she's pregnant as well, she's a pregnant woman post-war in Britain, or she just got to Britain. It's like adversity, double whammy. So not only are you pregnant, you're unmarried. Like, I just feel like there's a lot of emotional content there, and it's like,
oh, so you're saying it's easy?
It's cheating. That's what I said. It's cheating. It gets too much of an impact. It gets too much of like it's diversity. It's an adversity double whammy.
Well, look, the way I see it, I want all the feeling and all the emotions that you can give me. I'll take them all.
But it's like you're getting bang for your buck with that, because you don't have to work on that.
I get what you're saying, and I'll give you another example. It's like when an actor wins an Oscar for a real story.
Yeah, that's cheating as well.
And it's like, for a real story, it's like you didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's like when, as much as I felt like Leonardo DiCaprio should have won on Wolf of Wall Street, that is a true story. Yeah, that's not fair.
You didn't do anything.
You got the best story.
You know what I mean? Yeah, of course. I put, how did a maths freak like her, and I mean somebody that calculates her next moves, get pregnant out of wedlock like a little slut?
She said it. It's inappropriate, right?
Surely she would have seen the repercussions of her actions coming.
So wait, did you phrase it like that because of what you read earlier? You were like, whoa, everything's...
Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't.
Game.
Maybe no. It was.
Green light.
I think they used that specific terminology, "little slut." Which is completely inappropriate. Because
100%
promiscuous. What's it? Promiscuity is equal on both fronts.
It weren't back them times though. Literally, it weren't back them times. But yeah, my next point is also, but that's a good point to be fair, by the way. Before I just continue with this, because literally, just like if you methodically and like meticulously calculate every move that you make as if it was like the roll of a dice, like how have you landed yourself in this predicament?
Yeah.
It's like the only predicament you cannot be in as a woman in them times.
Exactly.
Anything else?
Nowadays, maybe some might think, oh, it's not that deep, but back then, it
was serious. Thing. It was serious going in. And also the thing is, like, you can be in any other situation. Like as a woman, if you're married, you can have many babies as you want. Literally, as many babies as you want. You want 6, have 6, have 7, have 7. If you're married, if you're out of wedlock, this is the one thing you cannot do. But I put that whole thing where Charlotte will break down everything into numbers or a maths problem. Despite me actually being rubbish at maths, it was very relatable. It was very relatable.
I thought it was just because I thought to myself, there's no people out there like that.
Not to that extent, but there are people like that. But not to that extent. There is, and the reason why I said that is because I said she's right. There is a sort of certainty with maths in that there is always a solution to find. Like there is a solution, you just have to basically find it. There's no situation where it's like, oh, there's no right or wrong answer. There's a right answer with maths, so it kind of brings that certainty. There are people like that.
I don't know if I agree with that analogy anyway, because if we look at the number pi, it's infinite, so you can't ever find the answer, isn't it?
Well, is it a question or is it an equation to find a circumference of a circle? But regardless, all we're proving here is we don't really know what pi is. But it's literally all your sheet there.
We don't know what maths is.
I know what pies are. Yeah, we're gonna cut this.
I put chapter 1. It's a bit of a selfish move to cut and leave her mother without even a note. there was no mobile phones in them days, you know.
Yeah, literally.
But I mean, this kind of shows the type of person she is in terms of the power of her decision making. I mean, she landed herself in this place.
Yeah, no, honestly, she made good decisions. And you know what's interesting about that, to add on to your point as well, it's not even a case of, she found herself with the opportunity, had to bail. She even said, I was planning this. She literally said, like, in advance, this is a scheme. She could have pre-written a note and just left it.
Does anybody really care about their cousins like that? To travel across the world and abscond from their parents. I mean, it's been 4 years in and around a war. And I mean, you're my brother. And I think I would have given up hope. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Do you know what it is? Like 4 years is a long time.
It's a long time. If they got out, they would have found a way to message you at some point. You know?
That's what I'm saying. Because the war's over now.
And it's your cousin. Who really cares about their extended family?
Do you know what? Some people, you have to be. It's not really common. It's not really the common. Yes, I love my. Obviously, you love your cousin, innit? But it's not a case of like our cousins are like. I just think with this case specifically, some people are.
Yeah, I guess some people
are. It's just a specific cousin. Which to be fair, I did find it a bit weird. It could have made it so much more like if it was immediate family, nuclear family, as you said the other day, it could have been so much more of an impact. But. Her decision maker was, especially in the start of the book, it was just ridiculous. I've put drunk or sober is one hell of a threat. It's just something that occurred to me while I was reading. When she finds Eve's house and he pulls a gun on her, she was literally like, drunk or sober, I could still like lick off the back of your head with this or something like that. And I just found it to just be such a funny threat. Like, don't fuck with somebody. If they say drunk or sober and they're drunk when they said it, do not fuck with this person.
I put 70 years ago in 1950s, people cared about how you viewed them. So, for example, Charlotte wanted an escort. I think she was going into the jewelry shop and she wanted a Scotsman to escort her, but she said it would make her look less respectable. How is it that nowadays we have this I don't care culture? You know, we don't care what people think about us nowadays. I mean, we at least say it, you know. It's another philosophical question if we're going to get into if we actually do or don't. But we definitely have this persona of I don't care. Whereas back in the day, you know, everything had to be respectable of families and this, that and the other. What happened? Why is it that we're like this now? Which is...
this is going to sound mad, but women start going to work. Women start going to work. It's a snowball effect. Like now there's less of a family unit because everyone's at work looking for their careers.
Do you know what it was? It's something to do with women. It is the contraception pill. That's what it was.
Oh yeah.
Because before, as we saw, Charlotte, you know, you couldn't sleep with boys because you get pregnant and bring shame on your family. Once you're taking them pills, you can do whatever you want. No one cares. I mean, no one has to know, sort of thing. So that was definitely, I guess, something that happened that changed the course of history.
I definitely do think it has to do with the family unit though as well. Like, if there's less of a family unit, there's less of a family to even embarrass. What does that even mean? I'm saying if there's less of a family, like if you're not as close, families are not as close or like not as much of a unit as they were. Now there's no family to embarrass. So you do what you want. Because like maybe families not even living together. Like your parents might live over there, you might live over here, your elder brother might live over there. There's less of a family unit. Nobody to embarrass. You're basically an individual now.
But who's to say that's changed?
Because women started going to work more. Like before there was one parent at home, one parent at work. Now there's both parents at work.
But even that in itself, we're getting off topic, but even that in itself, was only for a brief period of history of women staying at home. And that was like throughout the 1950s. Or that was war times, basically.
What do you mean?
That was war time. So before that, throughout all of human history, both parents have worked.
Yeah, worked on something.
So they've worked.
In terms of the corporate world, in terms of the industrial. So 1920s onwards, basically.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, to get back onto topic.
You go next, should I go next?
I said it seems like... Do you know what? One thing I found on the book, I found Eve's story so much better than Charlotte's. Like,
is this your next point?
That wasn't my next point.
You ruined it. That was coming up.
But I didn't give a single
you know them chapters you just want to skip.
Yeah, I just wanted to get over it. It's just like, why did we even have Charlotte?
Do you know what?
Why did we have Charlotte? She was alright. I didn't have a problem with her. But it's just like... Do you think Charlotte made Eve's story seem better?
No. That's the okay. How could it not have? How could it not have? Just because it added things, it didn't take away. So
this is what I'm saying. When you have something that's good and then you have it measured against something that's not good, it makes this good look even better. Whereas if we just have this by itself with nothing to compare it with, so maybe it added in that aspect.
Maybe,
but that's chess play.
That is definitely chess play. But it's like it made it a little bit bittersweet because I'm just like, bro, it could have been just
and
sweet.
It wasn't terrible. Charlotte's Wit weren't terrible. But
no, it just wasn't. Comparatively, it just wasn't good.
It seems like Eve got shipped off to Germany very quickly with hardly any training. I thought she'd learned hand-to-hand combat like in most spy stories. Is this story? Maybe the story is far removed from the cliche.
That's one thing I really loved about it. I really loved about it because everything about it, like the idea is, I was saying this earlier, the idea of a secret agent is kind of ridiculous when you're thinking about it. At least as they are portrayed in the screen, like James Bond, that's considered like the most serious fucking spy movie basically ever. And you got this guy running around the suit in the desert looking for terrorists, looking for criminals, wearing turtlenecks, tiptoeing around jewelry stores. It's ridiculous. He tells everybody his name. It's ridiculous. But the way it was done here genuinely actually seemed like this is something I even put later on, like it's a natural progression to use women as spies. The assumption back in the day was that they couldn't do anything, so it makes them perfect candidates because they're to be seen and not heard. So it was ridiculous. It was definitely ridiculous. I put interesting. Charlotte claimed that all she and Rose cared about in 1939 was living their teenage lives to the maximum, going to the movies, she said, rather than being on permanent red alert about the rising threat of the German Nazi Party, like the rest of Europe was. As silly as it sounds, it's often only when crisis and tragedy strikes near to home that people get to take it seriously. Literally, it reminded me of COVID. Because I remember COVID was a meme. It was a joke. People did not think it was going to reach. I don't even know if people thought it was real. Like January 2020, it was a joke. People was memeing about it, laughing about it. Like,
it is a joke, right?
We should be wearing our masks. But yeah, that even Cardi B, what's that thing that Cardi B did when she was making that joke about coronavirus? And then out of nowhere, everyone was like, "Oh, this is
serious. This is serious."
They must have went through a similar thing in 1939 where they was thinking,
Well, I mean, look, we're in the same place now with the Russia-Ukraine. You know, everyone thought, World War III. Because even these world wars, right? While they were in the middle of war, they didn't refer to them as World War. They referred to them as some form of conflict. But only in history we actually realise, or we call it World War. So we're still in that place. We just think, Putin, he's got nukes. He's not really gonna push the button. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of what humans do, or maybe it's what British people do. We carry on. That's what they say. We keep calm and carry on. That's what they say.
Make a cup
That's what they say.
And carry on. That's literally what it is.
I don't by any means think that this writer is anything special, but I think she's done well to capture or recreate what I imagine to be the feeling of the years just before the war. She said the British had an air of superiority towards the French, as if to say, at least we didn't get invaded. And this was mid-war, obviously, because obviously I think the British was France had already been taken by Germans.
France were the first.
Well, they would have. France was the last of the weaker sides. That's where.
That's when everyone started taking it seriously in France. It was like, France, I've heard of it. I've been there.
We're next.
Listen, I've been there.
And it's funny because Churchill said, boy, they ain't coming over here, we're going over there. We're not letting... Because I would rather...
die there or die here?
No, I'd rather stay on the coast with my machine gun waiting for them to come over here.
That is true.
But the only problem is, if they get over here, then...
It's a wrap.
It's done.
It is actually a wrap.
It's done.
England's not big enough.
It's done.
It's a wrap.
It's done.
It's definitely a wrap.
But yeah, chapter 8, she has finally come to the realisation that she hasn't received any training at all. She gets batted up by a new trainer, saying, oh, if a German comes in, do you salute him? Do you do this if he touches your pocket? Or da-da-da-da? And she broke it down to her. And it was like a sobering experience for her, because she didn't really realize what was going on. But there was no mention of torture. This is chapter 8 I'm talking. There was no mention of torture, no cyanide pill or anything like that. I thought maybe, but again, as I said, I've thoroughly enjoyed this book, and it's not the same sort of spy story. It's real.
It's not.
Real.
It definitely is real.
It's real, which is very.
And it's like when you think a spy, it's very refreshing. When you think spy movie, you think, oh yeah, they're gonna give me some gadgets, and I'm gonna get some exploding. Like, bro, it was nothing like that. It was just real, literally just espionage. It wasn't even spy. It's espionage.
There could have been a stealth mission though in there. You know, get into his room.
No,
there could have been something.
Stealth missions. It's the kind of thing where stealth missions, like, come on, I'm a firm believer. Like, you probably have to train for years before you're going on any stealth missions.
No, but when I say stealth mission, I mean, you know, sneakily lockpick in, get some information. The Germans lift something in their car, sort of thing. You know, when the Germans come to the restaurant, they lift something in their car quickly. Something.
To be fair, things like that though, you have to be sparing when you have things like that. Just speaking as a writer, anyways, you have to be sparing because it's like what are the chances? Oh, this guy just left what we need in his car, and it's isolated, and it's the perfect chance for, and it gets a bit cinematic.
Well,
it does get cinematic.
You can say that. By the end of the day, these Germans were spilling the beans in this cafe.
Yeah, no, they usually were. Which that's another thing that I had a problem with because
I didn't have a problem with that.
I know. Listen, soldiers get talkative with it. They get talkative.
Not only did I not have a problem with that, but the Germans kind of took their little precautions to make sure that the maids didn't speak German. Not to mention soldiers talk. So over in England, there was German spies who seemed British, looked British, were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So the women, they did play their part. We like to say they didn't die in the trenches, whatever, which they did. I mean, I think there was one female squadron that got obliterated within a week.
Yeah, no, I listened.
Right. But the women, they did their part. They did what they could.
And even if they hadn't, with terms of the war effort, like if somebody had to run like the factories back home, someone had to keep civilization running, and they did it. And like what's his name said, when the men got back, they was hearing things that you'd never heard a woman say before, like no, and I don't feel like it, shut the fuck up. But yeah, no, they did play their part.
That was a comedy.
100%.
That was a comedy sketch.
Yeah, that was. Who was it? Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, we don't quote Dave Chappelle unless we want to get cancelled. That's like what you don't do. Let me go. And we're still on chapter 8. You still on chapter 8?
I don't put chapters.
I think it's important. Reason why I think it's important for us to put the chapters is because some people might have started the book, right? And you don't have to wait to finish the book to read, to listen to what we have to say. You can say, oh, look, they're at chapter 8. I can't really listen to any more than this. Do you get what I'm saying? And they can read, and every day go back to the video, watch an extra 5 or 10 minutes.
That
you get what I'm saying?
True. They could do that.
So that's why I think it's important. But chapter 8. I am completely shocked at the potential sex scene. My lord, she really is a whore. Why is it okay for a woman to just jump into a man's lap and try to kiss him? If roles were reversed, it would be completely unacceptable. The way the Scotsman said, "Why are you sitting in my lap, whore?" He literally said, "Why are you sitting in my lap, whore?"
You said you got the wrong one. He said you have the wrong one.
I also liked the fact that he didn't succumb to her advances. Also, when did women learn that drinking while pregnant is a no-no? Because that was all throughout the book, her drinking whiskey.
Yeah, that's true.
You do need to come a bit closer though. I think it's this chair. Maybe I need to move.
Do you know what it was though? Because like she was literally on her way to get an abortion. Like maybe she was even still.
No, I don't think. I mean, because look, when cigarettes came out, whenever that was, people thought they were healthy. I think they didn't know about that sort of thing.
Potentially, I suppose so.
Or maybe it was just a case of that only matters further on down the line or whatever.
I put again. I don't really put them by chapter, but I put impressed. I'm impressed with the authenticity, especially regarding English and American customs. Charlotte physically recoils at the sound of a woman using profanity at all, much less the C word. Americans are. It's just a common thing. Americans they don't know about the C word. They don't know about it. They just find it so extreme. It's so extreme. They'll physically flinch if you do it. Here is big. Australia is big. Everywhere else, they don't really mess about with the C word. So it was just very authentic. And it was, she didn't have to go to that level of detail as well. She literally didn't have to do that. So I kind of disagree when you said she wasn't anything special. Not, she's amazing.
Well, that was early in. Oh, okay,
I was saying
that
enough.
as well. It's not.
I thought her execution was good, to be fair.
I still need some time to think about what I think about her as a writer. I mean, I definitely think she's very good because I did like the book. But yeah. But yeah, okay, so I've got the first big problem with the owner of the, what's it called? The Long. I can't remember.
What's the restaurant?
Yeah.
The Lelive. Was it
Lelive? Yeah, something like that. Lelive. Chapter 10. When he notices that Eve isn't where she says she is, given the fact that he's quite ruthless in the sense that he wants to prosper. What are the chances?
Oh yeah, you listen with the accent today.
Yeah, that's what I want to prosper. That's what I listened to the audio, but it's very, very good. The accents, the French, it was very, very good. What are the chances that he's a man grounded in the realm of morals? Isn't it unrealistic that he isn't taking advantage of these girls. He's giving them a job and paying them. These girls are so desperate for a job that they would do anything. Isn't it much more realistic for him to be leaving the nuts hanging out of all of these girls? Because, you know, not to mention he's got dirt on Eve in a time of war. You know, why was she not... Her papers were falsified. Why was she not made to perform sexual favours for secrecy? We could have been made to feel something from that scene. We've been emotionally robbed. He could have said, "Drop your knickers," and then we could have hated him.
Yeah, no.
And it's nice to hate characters, and that would have done a lot for the story. Without giving too much away, because we're just gonna have to go through this. You know, I don't want to give us, but you know, I was wrong. You know, I was wrong. But you know, at the time, let's just say I was impatient. The writer was right. I was right, but the writer wanted to take the time and, you know, warm us up. But I just thought, come on, that's an opportunity. You know, my man, he's got these girls on lock, sort of thing. You know, doing that for however many years he's been doing it or whatever, like, he's gonna make that benefit.
That's what I'm saying. The opportunity would have risen too many times for him to pass on it every single time.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Go on.
One thing I love to see in historical fiction novels is when they name drop like actual real historical figures into their works. Now apparently there was a couple of actual real historical figures. I don't know if you know that. Yeah, there was a couple of them, like real actual ones, but they didn't use the same names. It's like there was characters based on, because the Alice Network was actually a real thing in World War One though, but it wasn't in World War Two.
Yeah, but this was World War One.
No, it was. So because Charlotte's part is post World War Two, and it's like how many years went past between the things, so it was a real thing. But what I like to see is when there's like real historical figures in there, like just name drop. I think history lovers go nuts for it, 100%. And if you catch it, you catch it. If you
I think he's giving us an example. Are you giving us an example there?
Yeah, so for example, the Kaiser in World War One.
Oh, is that somebody?
Yeah, he was like, he was like Austria-Hungary. He was like the I forgot what he was. I think he was the Chancellor of Austria.
You know what?
Something like that. But
I was delivering to a building site, and it was a German, and I was listening to this stuff. And when I say some of these Germans, they look deadpan, like I can imagine him with a machine gun coming for me. I was like, my God, these are a different breed. You know, I don't know if that's okay to say or not, but I think it was. And maybe it's because I was listening to the Nazis or whatever, but genuinely, like, stone cold deadpan, you know. If he dies, he dies.
Yeah,
you know,
Donnie from Rocky. Who's that? Ivan Drago.
But in chapter 13, I put, she's a filthy, nasty girl. She's explaining how she fucked all the guys literally for bants.
Yeah, no.
Her father asked her who the father is, and she said 6 or 7 possibilities. Does she have no shame in the time period?
To be fair to her, that is very accurate to her. No, it is very responsible. It's very accurate to her character that she said 6 or 7 possibilities. This is a very math-oriented answer. It's a very math-oriented answer.
Maths is supposed to be accurate.
That's true, but it is also. But to be fair, maths there's room in maths for possibilities. Like possibilities.
Why I say do you have no shame is because obviously in the time that they were, does she have no respect for her family? Does she have no respect for herself? Like, you know, she knows what she was supposed to do: go out and get married, find a man, and this, that, and the other. To not even know who was busting nuts inside. They're like,
that's mad.
Bruv.
We're gonna bleep so much of this.
Come on.
We're gonna bleep so much of
like,
this.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that's
like,
ridiculous.
What's going on?
It's ridiculous. Disowned.
Yeah,
Disowned,
man. So it's just like, Jesus.
Bro, don't be that dad. Don't be her dad. Any other daughter's dad you could be. Don't be her dad.
It's mad. And I don't know if I actually wrote this down, but if I'd come across it, I'll mention it. But I think the same problem with Charlotte is the problem that a lot of modern women have. Let's exclude the fact that her brother killed herself, right? Her life is so perfect. You know, her parents are together. They're financially stable. She goes to a private school. She goes to, you know, she's got everything she wants.
She's spoiled. She's actually spoiled.
She's got everything she wants. So when we have everything we want, we create problems for ourselves. We look for problems. So, you know, I feel numb. You know, I just need to fuck all these guys to try and not feel numb. And it's not her fault per se. It's just I don't think we know enough about human interactions, but the reason why we live in this great civilization is because we have a drive inside of us to better our lives. This is why we have fridges and technology and stuff like that, because thousands of years ago, we had a drive to fix things. But now we've reached a point where life is just so good, we look for little problems and we get depressed. So this is the problem we have in this day and age now, and we see it throughout Charlotte.
Literally too many options.
Yeah,
she's got too many options. Don't know what to do with herself. It's a thing that people have always done. Like when people you've heard of it. These rock stars, these pop stars make one song blow big, get loads of money. What do they do? Throw it away on drugs. Literally end up destroying themselves. Literally just because there's too many options. The mind is not built to handle it. One comment I put was, "You're not one of those suffragettes, are you?" Which is a comment made by Eve's landlady. And a lot of my points here about the authenticity of the world building, like the actual world.
What does that mean?
The suffragettes, remember, they marched for women's rights to vote and things like that. That's what the suffragettes was.
Oh.
And that's what someone said, Eve's landlady said to her. And the reason why I was impressed with this aspect of the world building is because it was a woman that said it to her. Like, suffragettes were not popular with women, which is crazy if you think about it.
Oh, no, I know.
And it was ridiculous. Like, it wasn't so cut and dry as women good, men bad. It was like...
Did you know that it was... I think there was a whole vote for whether women should vote or whatever, and they opened it up to all the women. Oh, this is what it was. I read a book about marriage, the history of marriage, and they got letters from wives to their husbands, and most of the women, 90% of the women was like, I don't want to vote. I don't know why you want me to vote. I don't know why these people are trying to make me vote. You know, I don't go to war, so why do I want to vote? Sort of thing. So, you know, it was definitely... So there was a small group of women who were very loud that fought for the rights of women.
Literally, 100%. But it's just very interesting because it wasn't cut and dry as men bad, women good. A lot of women that day believed it was a woman's place to be at home and clean and cook for her husband. And like you said, what does voting or owning property have to do with any of that? Which is essentially their worldview.
Yeah. Do what you want to do. That was where Finn told Charlotte, do what you want to do, like whether you want to keep this baby or not. And I said, people really do follow advice that aligns with whatever they want going to do in the first place. Why in God's name would you take advice from somebody like Finn? He literally blew his inheritance on a car that he uses to ferry some old bitch around all day. That's where his decision making got him, and you're going to take his advice? It's like the blind following the blind.
Yeah, he's the blind.
Do what you want is literally the worst advice ever. You don't do what you want, you do what's right. That's what you got to figure out. What's the right thing to do, not what I want to do. But I just
especially in regard to like a pregnancy.
Yeah,
that's 100%. Especially then.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is 100% a good point. Like, none of these people in this house, like, none of the three main characters make good decisions. They're all, like, following each other in a blind triangle.
Oh, I mean, Eve, like, come on.
It's ridiculous.
There was so many things towards the ending of the book, and it was just like,
ridiculous,
what are you doing?
No wonder you live like this.
It's like, what are you doing?
But even from the beginning, where even Finn was literally like, yeah, she drank too much, she's going to come down, she's going to be hungover, she's going to have... That sounds like a daily occurrence, you know, at the beginning of the book.
But that's
daily.
At least there, you know, it's PTSD and this, that, and
yeah,
that.
no, that is true.
But when she, like, yeah. And then turns out the restaurant owner is creepy. There are men dying in the trenches. I think it's only right that she should be made to give up some pussy from some information. Do her duty. And then I put, okay, nah, the book is good. Maybe I was impatient. She's going to do her duty and sleep with him. It's a great storyline that did everything for the story.
100%. It's the honeypot.
And it was, it really does showcase what women did in the war, because she wasn't the only one that did that. You know, they were, bro, didn't Lily, is it Lily? The one,
Lily,
yeah, didn't she say, oh, it's not the first time the Germans wanted to see me on my knees to get through the checkpoints. Them Germans were living it up!
Of course, bro, they
were living it up!
They said we're running Europe.
These women, they did what they did, because I'm telling you, you go and tell a man, go die in a ditch, he's like, yeah. But you get on his knees, he's like, don't know about that.
Yeah, nah.
He's like, don't know about that one, you have to shoot me.
It might be a prison ticket.
You might have to shoot me. So there's sacrifices that both sexes made, which
definitely
this showcases.
Definitely 100%. They had to do what they had to do. They literally had to do what they had to do.
I want to take this time to mention what women sacrificed in the war efforts. They may not have gone in the trenches, but they definitely sucked a lot of German dick.
Yeah, no, it was over.
I said there was information that they gained was crucial. You know, crucial to saving hundreds of lives, even. And you know, even if it's, you know, gaining some territory, it means a lot. And it was it was on both sides. I'm sure, as I said, there was German spies over the waters over here, doing what they had to do.
A lot of Frankfurters were getting serviced, bro. Sure, you got that bomb head called Sloppenheimer. That's what they was doing. And do you know what's interesting about that? It seems like a deplorable idea at first glance, but it's like when we were saying about James Bond, this guy goes on missions, 2 fuck missions. That's literally what he does. It's the honeypot.
Literally, I said, the information that I would give up, the people that I would sell out, get me some of that.
Literally.
Joseph, he lives down there.
That's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. This is quite early on, to be fair, but I put it into the later. Eve seems to get violated on a daily basis, literally right in front of her face. This was very early in the book, to be fair. I remember when she was in the office. Within 90 seconds of, let's say, I think it was the second chapter, we've seen people call her dumb, mentally challenged, ugly, and undesirable. Literally.
Oh yeah, there was that as well. I don't know what the purpose of the star was. I understand it made her seem that much more stupid, but it's not like that was a big part of the book.
Yeah, nah, literally.
And it was, and then when you're hearing it in your ear in audiobook, and she's like, does
it actually add like to the experience of her character, or do you find it
annoying? Well, it does. That's the thing. It does, but so could having a limp. Why the star specifically? But why anything? You might ask. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Could the story have been just as good as it was without the star? And yes, is the answer.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's the only thing you need to. That's the only question you need to answer.
Yes, so I don't know. But I mean, it's what it is, isn't it? I put the restaurant owner is a wordsmith and a poet. He said something. I'm not gonna say if I agree with. Let's just say he said something that some men in this day and age agree with. He said, "Nowadays, I prefer a piece of uncut material over a finished masterpiece." So he was basically saying that, he wants a woman that's uncut material, so you can mold her into a masterpiece, and that is what some people do want. They want to. Yeah, they want to mold. There's potential in an uncut.
Hard to fill a cup that's already full, basically. Who said that? I was in that movie. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, and I thought that was philosophical. It was very philosophical. Yeah, no, because he was saying he wants a virgin. Basically, was what he was saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I said the writer's done a very good job with the character construction with Rene. The restaurant owner is a complicated character. He isn't a monster. He isn't even a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's just a man with power. Licking Eve's neck was a bit much, but technically...
That's a bit much.
Technically, she consented. At no point did she say no. And in those days, she specifically said, boys touch you and then until you say no. That's what they go to the drive-through cinemas and the boys touch you until you say no. So, she technically consented in those days. I said he's a powerful man that any woman would accept his advances from. He could transform their and their families' lives. Food was scarce. So this is what I'm saying. The character was complicated. And we know now towards the end he's a monster. But in the very beginning, he wasn't a monster. You have some form of dislike for him. I didn't personally. But... he was just a normal man, really. He didn't even really take advantage of the girls.
Yeah, not really. Like you said, he was paying them. He was literally paying them.
He didn't even take advantage of the girls. He liked Eve, so he moved to her and she consented. So I think she done a very...
two consenting adults.
she was the bad one in that scenario. She was taking advantage of him, really.
That's actually true, to be fair.
So, I thought it was very, very complicated the way she done it, and I thought it was I think it was a masterpiece, probably.
It wasn't very black and white. It was grey, which is exactly what you want from a wartime novel with espionage in there. You want grey areas. Like, I want both sides doing all kinds of fucked up shit.
And also, I just don't get this idea of these profiteers being so evil. It's like, what do you want them to do? Go in the trenches. Like, he was doing his thing, making his money with the Germans. He thought they were gonna win.
Yeah, nah, everyone thought they was gonna win. To be fair,
at a certain point, people thought they were gonna win. So he was in France. What do you want me to do?
Literally, it's Nazi occupied France. They're everywhere.
He's everywhere.
He said, I didn't bring them here.
He's nasty profiteers. It's like, come on, I didn't see him as a bad guy. Towards the end, fair enough.
Yeah, nah, but that's quite extreme what we're talking about. But yeah, we'll get to that. But
we'll get to that.
Yeah, no, in all seriousness, I thought It seemed like to me they were setting him up to be the villain from his like from
Yeah,
the story. He was set up to be the villain, but I was at the same time I was literally just like, this is wartime. There's no real good people in wartime. Like if you're surviving, you've done something. Basically, you've done something dubious.
You wanna go?
Yes. I wasn't 100% sold on the back and forth time hopping. I understand like it can enhance a story. It's a theme that has uses in stories, but sometimes I just like my stories to start where they begin, finish when they end. Do not demand additional brain power from me. I've already spent a long day at work. I don't want to do more work on top. I want an easy book. I want the book to give it up on the first day. I want to give it up. I want the plot, inject the plot into my veins.
I thought it was not only was it creative because the story obviously started at two ends, and they started at two ends, and both and they just started coming closer and closer, and it was good. It was good, man. It was good. It all feeds into the fact that, like you were saying, and also, like Eve's parts. I was just like, give me another Eve part. Yeah. I think I haven't finished, but I think I might recommend this book. So if someone said, "Oh, I don't know what to read," I'd say you could recommend this book to anyone.
Oh no, 100%. Like I said, this is the best one we've done so far. Literally,
it was a good book.
It's the best
might read it again.
Yeah, you might say read it again. You know, just so you could hear.
I put, why in God's name would Finn want a pregnant whore? They got into some form of relationship. It was just so confusing.
Yeah, no, at the end, I really didn't
everybody
like that.
Smash.
I really didn't like it.
Everybody smashed. My man had a Bentley, he had a nice car. Why would he want her? I mean, we'll get to... I've got a bit more about it. But this is what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
This is what I was thinking. I don't know what chapter we are, maybe 15 or whatever. She completely threw herself at him on the first night. You think I want that?
Nah, Jesus.
Thank you. Literally. No, thank you.
And that's to take care of somebody else's... Baby, it could be 6-7 possibilities.
He's got a lot of potential.
Literally.
I'm thoroughly enjoying the book, but the writers definitely missed a few tricks. Eve's abortion scene should have been a bloodbath. I mean, I know she was going to make it. We knew she would make it.
Yeah.
But as I was cringing as I was reading, before the author even started the procedure. So the author should have really just,
gone into it.
Because she didn't really say much. She said, it's a bit of bleeding. They should have been wincing. They should have been crying. They should have been gripping. They should have been... She should have finished us.
Literally.
She should have made us feel it. She should have told us the needle was like 10, 12 inches, and she slowly slided it in.
Remember
she should have went...
But doing the most into the lens, yeah.
She should have said, Lily had to put her ankles behind her ears.
Yeah, it's done. Remember in House of the Dragon, the first scene, when they had to hold the mum down, remember, the king?
Yeah, and cut her open.
Do you understand what they should have done? Something like that, something to shock us.
Yeah,
so to give us a little more dilemma.
Man. So I don't know why. It's like I don't know. Maybe she didn't want to scare people.
Maybe it was a bit much. Maybe she put it in that editor advised her to take it out. It's possible. Editors do that sometimes. I remember, I read a book one time where there was like a character that was alive. I mean, that died at the end of the book. And she said in the original one her character lived, and then she gave it to her editor, and the editor was like, she needs to die. Yeah. So editors do that sometimes.
Well, you should have had that editor in some of this too.
Honestly. I've put, to be fair, this one we got. Over the course of the story, I put this about midway through, to be fair. Over the course of the story, I found Eve's perspectives and memories to be more of a primary storyline. It's actually just better. I was like, and I see a lot of people do this, a lot of authors do this. It's called a straw man, where basically what you do is you set one character up to be the main character, the protagonist, and as the story goes on, you find out the main character is actually someone else. And it's like a little discovery that you get to make. It just gives you a little bit of a dopamine rush.
So why can't they just have two banging stories that go side by side? Why
because it's hard enough to get one best-selling story. You want two in one book for the price of one? For the low price of $9.99?
I said, it's funny how Eve's story is so much better than Charlotte's. Also, why did Eve and Lily take the risk to go back to base? Their job is to gather information. Eve got the info. Why risk trying to get through checkpoints with one set of papers? That didn't make no sense. It didn't make no sense. Oh, you need to come back to base to explain what you have to the guy. Bro, take the information and do with it what you will. I ain't going sneaking through checkpoints with one set of papers after these girls already got told to come back home. They got told to come back home, and you still want to play.
I was thinking that as well, but especially in spy stories, what I don't like to do is just because I'm a bartender, mate. What I know about espionage, but at the same time, so I'm very aware when I'm being overly critical, or if I'm being critical at all, but that did not make any sense. I'm literally like, this is how you get fucking caught. Like checkpoints.
There was no need. The writer should have come up with a different way of them getting caught.
Checkpoints.
There was no need for them to be trying to squeeze through checkpoints and this, that. There was no need at all. It made no sense.
Ridiculous. I put sorry, before you go on, I put literally. Is that already? I thought it was expected that I should have expected that Eve's storyline was going to be better, and the reason for it is because like Charlotte's is like post-wartime, Eve's is wartime. Like in what way are those going to match up? Exactly. I literally said wartime. I was like, it might not be a case of Eve's was written better. It's a case of wartime Britain is just more of an interesting period than wherever the hell Charlotte was at. Like no one cares about after the war or before the war. People want to see the war. So it was not
necessarily, you know. Reason being is because, like, this is the beauty of the story. We didn't see no war.
That is very true.
The whole book was in a restaurant.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
So that's why.
But I mean wartime, not mean wars in the front lines of the battlefield. Wartime.
Yeah, like, but this is what I'm saying, because we're talking about, you know, it's funny enough. This was a sick love story. That's all it was.
Yeah, it was.
She stringing him along, getting some information. He was in love. Well, he was. He said if you got pregnant, it wouldn't be such a bad thing. He liked the girl. Yeah, so, you know, that's what it was. It was the weirdest. It was a romance story with a sprinkle of war on. That's what it was. It wasn't a war story with a bit of romance. It was a romance story.
Yeah, no.
With the woman manipulating the man, whereas normally the man manipulating the woman, you know, pretending that he loves her or this, that, and the other.
But like I said, why is that so much of a surprise? Like women were constantly underestimated in that era, even now to be fair. But that's literally what my next point is about. I put the concept of using women as spies in wartime Britain is a very sound one, considering all the assumptions that were made with regard to women and their capability to do a man's work. The attitudes were no different abroad, and there's advantages to include women in field work on both sides of the war. Like you said, the Germans are going to have their own spies in the British trenches and in Britain, in London, wherever, that can speak English, women as well, because people just don't think to suspect women. They're not smart enough. That's literally what they were thinking. But I suppose the natural progression is from using women as spies to using children as spies, because like that's how you achieve ultimate. You definitely don't look at them if you're not. And then
women, it's dogs.
They've already been using dogs. If you use dogs in field work,
well, in was it World War One? They trained them to run under the tanks.
I think it was two. Because it was the Russians that did that, because the Germans had the Tiger tanks in World War Two. But we all know how that ended not well.
I put this book has it all. I was impressed. It's like after halfway through the book, I just became more and more impressed with the book. Maybe up until the end. The endings are hard to do though, I assume, because a lot of writers mess them up, and this ending is questionable. I mean, look, the book was good, but anyway, you know, I just got more and more impressed. So I said, this book has it all. A heartfelt story from somebody's past. Finn recaps the liberation of a death camp. You know, and that's what every great story has. It has these a character building moment where they speak about their past. Oh, what? Do you remember our cousin that used to squash beetles with a rock? Why did he do that? I don't know. You know, just a pointless story, and that's what the war book that we read didn't have as well.
Yeah, no, it
didn't have no character development.
Yeah, it didn't.
With someone saying a pointless story.
Yeah, no, expositional story.
Yeah, so it had that. And I'm confused as to why Eve stutters. And someone said she whimpers like a kicked puppy. And I thought that's just a violent analogy.
That's just...
I love it, but it's like...
Because do you know what it is? You know why it's good? Because it sounds like exactly what it is. You can picture that so clearly in your mind. That's why the point of these analogies are to get the linguistics of it across, so you have an actual idea of it in your mind. But that's mad. Like, who's kicking? Come on, who wants to do that?
Even coming up with stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah, nah, check it out.
Eat them. Don't kill them. Yeah, don't kick them. Sorry. Eat them. Don't kick them. You got anything?
Where's it gone?
You got a lot left, or you got a little bit left?
I've got a little bit left. I think I've got like four maybe I have left.
Okay, I've still got a bit more. Alright.
Where's it gone?
Should I go then?
No, yeah, I'm just trying to find it. I did it in the wrong
I put the sex scene between Eve and the captain. Did you not feel disgusted that she cheated on Renee?
Yes, like I said, it's women in wartime. They do what they have to do.
Women do what they have to do. She didn't have to. She cheated on him. Infidelity. He's done nothing apart from be a good partner to her. You know, I thought it was quite interesting how she quote unquote manipulated him, the captain, quite creatively. I've never seen a sex scene initiated like that. Can you imagine your best friend just got caught and she's trying to get something off this? She's trying to fuck the captain.
Yeah, nah.
You know, oh, I'm just so lonely. Like, she laid it on thick. Like, I've never had a woman say that to me. You know, I just don't go. Oh, I'm so lonely. My family's just died. This, that, and the other. Fuck me. Like, it was creative, you know, but.
That's a form of manipulation as well. To be fair, that's form of manipulation.
She knew what she was doing. She even said it. He was pulling away from her, and she said something like, "Oh, it was wrong of me too, but I said, don't leave me."
Yeah, nah, it's mad. It is emotional manipulation, but like you said, the roles are reversed. That's coercion, plain and simple. But yeah. I really did like Renee as a villain. I'm not going to use the word villain just because I feel like he wasn't a villain for most of the story. Like you said,
I don't think he was a villain.
I will say antagonist.
I don't think he was a villain. I don't think he did anything wrong from the start of the book to the finish. I don't think he done a single thing wrong. And as we go through it, I'm going to explain why. Why. He didn't do nothing wrong. Nothing. Not a single thing.
I just thought he was an antagonist because he's antagonising the protagonist. That's literally all that means. He was just antagonising him.
He didn't antagonise no one. He was a victim.
To be fair, that's actually
he was a victim.
That's factually accurate as well. He literally was a victim. Like, he was actually being lied to.
I put sex scene between Charlotte and Finn. Does Finn have no shame? Fucking a pregnant woman? Why did that scene happen? Very strange and unnecessarily lustful in the back of the vehicle.
No, it does. Much. But we all know, like, we have to be very sparing with, like, the lust in these books. We have to be very, very, very sparing. Gentle with it. Gentle, like salt. Don't put too much.
Yeah, but I think that whole scene was just unnecessary.
Yeah, it was as well. But to be fair, her getting together with Finn was
unnecessary.
Yeah, it was unnecessary. Her being in the story was unnecessary.
I think Finn being in the story was unnecessary. He was completely unnecessary. It was just like,
I thought he was going to end up to be the villain at the end. Finn.
What did you think we were reading? What did you think he was reading?
No. When he just first came in, I was literally just like, bet you anyone, because first of all he's a Scotsman, and it's like when it's written from the perspective of an English person. Scottish people tend to be villains, in The King's Man.
Yeah, but that's like saying British people are normally the villains in American stuff.
To be fair, they are.
Well, yeah, they are.
Well, like the British or Russians.
Scottish people are British.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, not Andy Murray though. We'll have him. Though.
Oh, of course.
We'll have him.
He's English.
Why doesn't the writer make us care about these characters more if they're going to kill them? Am I just a sick, numb psycho that wants to feel something? We didn't care about Lily.
Yeah, no.
Did you?
Nah, definitely not.
We barely even saw her.
I wanted to see some cool shit, bro.
Why didn't they bring her in? Like, did she perform the abortion on her? Was it Lily?
Did
Lily perform it? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, but there was we didn't care about Lily. Why can't you give us somebody and take them away from us?
That's
make us care. That's what we want. That's how you win the Oscar. The book Oscar.
Bro, before you win an Oscar, you got to win an audience. You got to win the audience. And that's literally how you do it.
What's the point? Listen, it's like chess. Don't do it. If it doesn't give you an advantage, don't do it. Killing her didn't do anything for us. You know? It didn't do anything. So it was.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think there needs to be a lot more. This goes into what we're saying about endings, though. But even a couple of the books we've done, I've literally just I was promised a lost element. I was promised I was gonna feel something. I was promised he was gonna hurt me. I was promised. That sounds like a sadomasochistic thing to say, but.
I like the way Renee found out Eve was an English spy. It was very creative. Her swearing in English the scene itself. She could have lied her way out of that.
Yeah, no.
In the beginning, why is there a gun? She kept just die with the lie. It's your father's gun. What do you want me to do? Die
Literally.
with it. Why are you kicking the gun and running and this, that? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? But anyway, I don't know why she tried to run. If she kept up the lie, I think she would have got away with it. Not to mention, she's a woman. She could have lied to him once she had been caught. She could have said, I didn't expect to fall in love with you. Why don't we run away together? All of that. You know, instead of, oh, I tricked you. Oh, are you stupid? Are you stupid or what?
They wanted that confrontational moment though.
Yeah, but you could have done it in a different way. But it's not realistic because people start begging. When you're caught, you start begging. You don't like what is it because she's a woman? She thought she wasn't going to get tortured. That's probably it. That's probably it.
Yeah, probably.
But I thought the story might have been better if she really had fallen in love with him, because there was a scene where she was like, "Oh, he's pleasuring me," and it's disgusting. You know, she could have suffered from Stockholm syndrome and really loved him. You know, and then she could have suffered from Stockholm syndrome and really loved him, right? But I said she's really an idiot for making an emotional decision to hurt Renee's pride. It only made her torture worse.
Literally.
The torture scene was brutal.
Very.
And I said, you see when these lot don't listen? You know, they were told to come back to base. But come on, in all seriousness, why are you not? Why are you saying, oh, I tricked you? Like, I mean, either way, exactly, either way. At the end of the day, that you didn't really do anything amazing. Like, he came after you because he liked you and he whispered some stuff to you. You did not, like, Inception go in his brain. You didn't do anything, love. Yeah, no. He did it all and you just sat there and shut your mouth and listened. So I don't know why you're bragging, oh, I outsmarted you. No, you didn't,
she
bro.
She was playing chess. She was playing checkers, bro.
Calm down. Was it worth you losing your fingers?
Yeah, nah, because that's mad. Even in the beginning when Finn said, he didn't say, she had her hands broken. He said she had every bone in her hands systematically smashed.
But this is the thing, right? And this is why I say Rene, he's not a bad guy. I never said he's gonna be hard to come back from. I never said he's not a bad guy. I don't think he's a villain. I think he's a victim because he liked this girl. Let's go as far as to say he loved her. Let's just say it, because he would have, if she got pregnant, you know, he would have dealt with it. He'd have had it, whatever, right? So he loved this girl. She betrayed him. And then, not to mention, for him to save his own skin, he felt like he needed some information because she's been in his bed, in his restaurant, giving up the German secrets. So he's thinking, if these Germans know, I mean, he could have let her go. He could have. But he thought to himself, I need some information to go back to them. She's not giving me the information. So, what do you want me to do? I'm not beating her. I don't want to damage her face. Let's damage her hands. I mean, if you go through torture scenes in every piece of literature, the hands is nothing. That's nothing. You know, breaking little bones, that's nothing. That's not real torture. You know, and it's because she's a woman, he could have pulled her teeth out. He could have scooped her eyes out. He could have
pulled her tongue out.
He could have done it. Well, that would be stupid, though.
But
don't start with the face. Start with the hands. That was a joke. But so, you know, he done what he needed to do at the end of the day. So that's why I say, you know, he ain't no evil guy.
Nah, FBI's watching this, like, bro. Would you say he's not a bad guy? Yeah,
I think he's alright. I'd have a drink with him.
Yeah, I'm dead. To be fair, do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of just what he was talking about, the scene where she gets caught when he realizes that she's English. Speaks English. Sorry. She's saying, the scene where he realizes that she's not German. Reminded me of, what's that movie? The war movie with the.
Inglourious Bastards.
Inglourious Bastards, that's what it reminded me
these little things.
Yeah, literally.
These little things get you caught.
They literally, attention to the details. It's the details.
But
it is all.
How do you get out of that? So how do you train your people to swear in the language as opposed to? I mean, it's automatic.
First of all, you have to speak in nothing but German. Nothing but German. Zero English. None. Literally, while you're training, while at base camp.
Nothing but French.
Nothing but French. Sorry, I keep saying German. Nothing but French. Or German, not English. Put it that way, not English.
No, but the German would have still gotten her in trouble. Not as much. The English is hook, line, and sinker. English. Hook, line, and sinker. You finished watching your football, yeah?
No, I wasn't watching. I was checking the scores.
Checking his little
Checking the scores. So yeah, we scored. But anyways, it is the details that'll get you caught 100%, and it's always a believable way to be caught because that can just slip out like it did.
Oh yeah,
it just happens so.
I think it was so good.
Ridiculously,
very creative.
Yeah, 100%, and it just speaks to how sharp Renee actually is. That he's gonna catch any little thing. He's onto it. But yeah, and it's the swearing as well, because that's such a reflex thing as well. Swearing as well, it just comes out.
I thought it was very good.
Comes out.
I thought it's funny how in love stories, and we saw the same thing in The Fourth Wing. Men always have a legitimate reason for liking a woman, whereas the women have this lustful feeling that drives them to want the man. So we found out Finn likes Charlotte because she's the smartest woman he knows, which isn't saying much, because Finn doesn't know anybody. But he said she likes to help anybody she can. Right? And that's somewhat of a legitimate reason.
She likes to help possibly 6 or 7 different people.
I said... That is true. She definitely likes to help 6 or 7, but not, yeah.
She literally helped them guys.
She helped them out. But yeah. So she's, she jumped on. What was it? Eve said, "Oh, I want to catch this man." She's a very, very caring individual, and that is admirable in a woman, definitely. So, but there was never any explanation as to why Charlotte likes Finn.
Yeah, no, that is definitely true.
So, and this is what happens. But this is why I say it's this propaganda, and this is being purported to people that women, right, just go after this feeling, this lustful feeling, and this is how relationships are formed in this day and age. Oh, I just like him because I don't know. It's just what happens. Yeah, it's what happens. And the same with The Fourth Wing. Zayden.
Yeah.
Said why he likes.
What was her name? What was it? Was it Violet?
Violet. Oh, there's a Violet in this one as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, literally. Violet.
But yeah, it's just what happens. I don't know why it is, but it's what it is. I want to hate Renee more, but I can't. He hasn't really done anything wrong apart from the torture, which is kind of justified because he needed to give the information. And at the end of the book, they go in his house and kill him. He was defending himself. They went in there and they murdered him.
Bro, they caught him on the toilet. And
they literally murdered him. That's what they did. So he was a victim, and it was. I think it was clever. I think it was genius. His whole character. Because look, we have people like Thanos, who's bad but really not. He's trying to do the favor. Renee wasn't that. He was just like, I want to profiteer. And
do you know what's funny as well? Like, evil. In the grand scheme of the story, if we examine the facts and only the facts, they seduced him, lied to him, used his information, and killed him. What?
And he's the bad guy.
Yeah, and he's literally made out to be the bad guy. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's actually ridiculous.
I think we've jumped a lot, but
we definitely have jumped a lot.
I thought the reunion was anticlimactic. So after the weeks of searching for this guy, he turns up behind them. Let's not go into that. He turns up behind them, but it was anticlimactic. He didn't even slap her. She didn't slap him. She didn't spit on him. She didn't have to be held back. They just had a nice little conversation, a chat, and a glass of wine.
Do you know what's funny though? In these kinds of situations,
they search for him for weeks.
The reader thinks they want closure, but you don't want closure. You want it open-ended. You don't want to know if they found him or not. You want to be left with something because when you give them the closure, it's always anticlimactic.
Yeah, but when you don't give them a closure, it's like, well, that was pointless.
It's not pointless. You have to do it in a way. You got to pattern it. You just got to do it in a way where it's not like the mission of the point of the story has been achieved, and this is just like extra. It's like side quests. But if you give them the closure and it's like, yeah, we met, we had a glass, and it's over now. Oh, no, you think you want that, then you get it, and you're like, yeah, nah, it wasn't. Nobody wants that. Trust me, nobody wants that. But the ending episode of a TV show is always shit. It's always shit. Remember the end of Game of Thrones, the last episode?
I don't know.
Dog shit.
Yeah, so they say.
No, the last episode was dog shit.
I don't know.
It was.
I didn't mind. I liked it.
Ended on a sour note.
But yes, it got, and in the ending, Eve selling her house, buying him a Bentley and this, that, and the other, and it was just like, why they didn't have to be a happy ending like this. It didn't seem like they were gonna die, but it didn't seem like it was gonna be a happy ending. And also the spies got caught. They did their prison time. Overall, I thought the book was very, very good. I thought it was very, very good.
I thought it was really good as well. Like I said, I think it was the best one we've done so far. I think it was written the best. I think the execution was extremely good, though not so much the plot, because it wasn't it was carried by the plot in the sense that you're using historical real day events, so you've cheated a little bit, but the way you execute it has been very good.
Look, I think we shouldn't. I don't agree with that. Right?
What, the cheating thing?
I don't agree with it because, you know, it wasn't like she took action scenes and this time. There was no war. This was a love story it just happened to be in wartime. You know, she got it could have been World War One, could have been World War Two. It could have been any little conflict. All she did
100%.
was listen in to what the Germans were saying and relay the information. We didn't even see the actual benefits of the information. You know, they asked the captain, and they were like, oh yeah, we didn't even use that information anyway. You know, they didn't believe it or some like. Yeah, you know, it was a good book.
To be fair, I even had the danger to invalidate literally the entire thing.
Oh, we did. I
was literally like, bro, you didn't even have to put that in there. You've just decided, let's invalidate everything that they've even. So they even killed that guy for nothing. Renee, they killed him, and it was like invalidate, like the information.
Oh, it killed Renee.
Yeah, the information was invalidated. I just don't think that they should have. I like the idea of not showing what it's used for.
Also, another thing, with Renee being that distraught that she spilled the beans on opium, mate. If you drugged me and I spilled the beans, I don't feel no way. Yeah, sorry, there's nothing I could do. She had her hands, bro. If she came off and she didn't have a scratch on her, bro, her hands were finished.
Her whole hands were finished. Both of them.
She held out. She endured. You know. So you know.
That I had a lot of respect for her. Like when she actually endured that. Though. Like, she had to be drugged
like a canary.
From I see that thing come out, when I see them open the case.
What is a bust?
I'm not sure, but I know what it does. I know what it does. It busts up. But yeah, from I see them open that little case or whatever, start taking out pliers or things like that, I'm like, here's the murder weapon, here's his address, here's his barber's address, here's his plug's address.
I couldn't be a spy.
100%. I would literally be like,
I like my fingernails. Trust me. I mean, look, everybody thinks for torture. Everybody thinks. It's just a case of how quickly, how much pain you're gonna go through.
How long is it you gonna make it take?
Because you can't endure. I mean,
the whole thing, you know. But to be fair, that is literally why you have to be. That's what you have to be on to be an espionage agent. I remember James Bond where he took the seat out. Like you got to be on serious business because you know that's why they give them the cyanide pill because they're like, it's actually better.
Well, that's
this is preferable.
I mean, look. I mean, even if we have an instinct as humans to care about our children and our young, and you see the same thing throughout the animal kingdom, and they did a study where it was probably the Germans that did this, but they had monkeys with their babies, and they put them in a metal box in a room, and they started heating up the floor, and every single monkey picked their baby up and held them above until the floor got so unbearably hot that they all stood on their babies and killed them. Yeah. So the point is, torture gets everybody.
Yeah, nah.
Something takes over in your mind.
Yeah, nah, genuinely.
You have a will to live and survive.
It's literally like it's like trying to stop yourself from breathing. You can't really do it.
Yeah,
you can't really do it. Eventually, you will give in, or you will just murder yourself to get out of it.
You can't even. Well, you'd have to physically kill yourself. You can't hold your breath until you die. That's impossible.
Yeah, exactly. So your survival, your instinct to survival will win out.
Out of 10.
I'm gonna give it 8.5. I'll give it 8.5. I think it was really
good. Touching 9. It could have been better. It could have so easily been better. It could have so easily been better. I'd love to sit and write it down and just slap it across the face. What are you doing? Not even a stealth mission. It's the feeling. There were certain scenes she could have made us feel for these people. You know, but she didn't. I don't know why. It's weird. It was there. It's like just you didn't even have to do anything too much.
Right there for the taking. It was
a good
emotional content. I really did enjoy it. I thought from what I heard about, well, to be fair, like you said, there was no really war in it, but from what I heard it was gonna be like a wartime novel. I was just thinking they're typically good. I would say it's a genre that I actually enjoyed.
Yeah. Well, look at the last one we read.
But to be fair, what war was that? I mean specifically like 1900 war, like World War One, World War Two, Cold War, even a little bit. I specifically mean those. I haven't read as much Cold War stuff, obviously, but specifically those two wars, I would say. Maybe even a little American Civil War. I like that, but as well. But yeah, no, this was definitely better than the one we read, 100%.
We need to get organised as well, so that we can have the next book ready for you guys, so you lot can start reading it immediately. So that in a week's time. But yeah, it is what it is. 100%. Listen, guys, thanks for listening. Till next time. Cool.
So what is the next question?
That's the question.